Breaking news. We have just received word of a decision in one of the most consequential cases before the Supreme Court in decades.
In this historic decision, the Supreme Court has now overturned Roe v. Wade. Overturned Roe v. Wade and the follow-on case called Casey, in which the abortion right was made nationwide.
The Supreme Court has overturned Roe versus Wade in a decision authored by Justice Alito on the U.S. Supreme Court. Again, Roe versus Wade has been overturned. We therefore hold that the Constitution does not confer a right to abortion. Roe and Casey must be overturned, and the authority to regulate abortion must be returned to the people and their elected representatives. The battle returns to the states.
The Constitution, according to the court, does not confer a right to an abortion under the Constitution. Roe versus Wade and Casey are specifically overruled by the court, and the matter of abortion is returned to the states for each state under our federalism to decide how to treat it. This is an amazing day in this country for constitutional law.
Today, we celebrate the fight. We also celebrate all of you who support the work of the ACLJ and have been in this battle for decades, because this is the first step. It's a long first step, but it was the first step in the major fight to get this back to the states.
Almost immediately in 23 states now, this means that access to abortion is severely restricted. There's about 9 states that have codified it, states like New Jersey, states like Connecticut, but this will be a patchwork of differing laws. This kicks off an incredible legal fight, Jan. I know you've been following this. In this state,
you cannot read the Constitution and find a right to abortion. And that's what they acknowledged today, and that was the right thing. And we are joining a vast majority of countries. This is not a strange, extreme decision. Protecting life is the right thing to do.
It says, we end this opinion where we began. Abortion presents a profound moral question. The Constitution does not prohibit the citizens of each state from regulating or prohibiting abortion. Roe and Casey arrogated that authority. We now overrule those decisions and return that authority to the people and their elected representatives.
We could not have done it without you. This would not have happened without God, obviously. And I think about those early cases and the team that we had then. It was a small ragtag team. But we were able to go across the country defending freedom and liberty and standing up for the unborn. And the end result of that today, after doing this for 40 years. But thank you. Your support of the ACLJ makes all this possible. Without you, it just doesn't happen.
From the U.S. Supreme Court, the opinion just handed down a moment ago, a ruling on school choice and religious freedom that directly applied to a school in the state of Maine.
This one originated out of Maine, and again, this is Carson versus Makin, 6-3 out of the U.S. Supreme Court. The opinion was written by Chief Justice John Roberts, and it says very clearly, if you are going to have programs that allow parents to choose to send the money to send their children to a private school, you cannot exclude religious schools.
They are seeking equal treatment, not special treatment. They're saying, don't treat me worse because I want to send my children to a religious school rather than a secular school. Treat me the same as the secular parent.
What's interesting here is the free exercise clause. It's in a speech case. It wasn't an establishment clause case. It was the right to free exercise of religion. And the court said, as we've explained in other opinions, interest in separating church and state more fiercely than the federal Constitution cannot qualify as compelling in the face of an infringement of free exercise. So this case elevated the free exercise clause of the Constitution. That's good.
What the court basically said today is people can't be penalized and have a benefit that's otherwise available to people unavailable to them because of their religious beliefs, because that's a violation of a liberty that existed before the Constitution did.
The free exercise clause does not allow a burden to be placed on the religious participant simply because they are religious.
This is a big win for school choice advocates who have wanted money to follow students rather than go straight to school districts. It doesn't go that far, but it does say potentially open the door to that kind of conversation.
That kind of targeted discrimination is exactly what the free exercise clause was designed to prevent.
Senate lawmakers are reporting a breakthrough on a bipartisan gun reform bill. It would toughen federal gun laws and provide billions of dollars for school safety and mental health programs.
This Safer Communities Act, which includes multiple provisions on gun safety, a few which actually do go to whether or not you'd be able to purchase a firearm. A lot of that done through federal funding, then given to the states.
The bill is a bipartisan deal that would expand gun background checks for people under 21, allowing up to 10 business days to review juvenile and mental health records. It provides federal money for states enacting new red flag laws designed to temporarily seize guns from people deemed dangerous.
You know, there's ways it works, but there are also ways to really exploit this.
This is where basic constitutional principles come into play. Viewpoint discrimination is unconstitutional. It has to meet the highest level of scrutiny, strict scrutiny, least restrictive means. Banning someone with vagueness is not the way to do it. Now, red flag laws in general, if appropriate due process is in place, makes sense.
Major Second Amendment case is before the Supreme Court today. Do Americans have a fundamental right to carry handguns in public in the name of self-defense? Well, the case challenges a New York law requirement for people to get that license. Gun rights groups say they're too strict.
The ACLJ filed in this case out of New York, and it does not just affect New York, but it'll affect laws in California, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey as well.
New York law for more than 100 years says you have to show a proper cause or a special need to have that permit. Gun owners, Kira, said that is too discretionary. It gives state officials the ability to limit someone's constitutional right.
What the Supreme Court said today, an opinion written by Justice Thomas, very clearly 6-3, the Second Amendment is no different than the First Amendment. And when you have a Second Amendment right, that right is for everyone. And this bar to being able to conceal carry, the right is not stuck in your home. You can't just say, okay, you have a Second Amendment right to keep your weapon at home to protect your home. No, it involves being out in the public as well.
The court holds that New York's proper cause requirement to obtain a concealed carry license violates the Constitution.
Yep.
By preventing law-abiding citizens with ordinary self-defense needs from exercising their Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms in public for self-defense. That's the ruling 6-3. It'll affect states like New York and about 7 others that had similar restrictive rules.
In Alito's concurring opinion, he points out that our holding decides nothing about who may lawfully possess a firearm or the requirements that must be met to buy a gun, nor does it decide anything about the kinds of weapons that people may possess.
It's a significant victory at a time when I know people are concerned about gun rights and restrictions being put in place that may be unconstitutional. To get this kind of clear message from the court, it's a big deal.
The World Health Organization is recommending in its strongest terms that a deeper investigation is needed to determine how the COVID-19 virus originated and if it was indeed accidentally leaked from a lab in Wuhan, China.
But now, even the World Health Organization is coming around to the idea that, yeah, this probably didn't just originate in a wet market from just an animal, that there was something done here in a lab and it needs to be investigated. In fact, the World Health Organization is now being slammed by China.
There is now no evidence for a zoonotic transfer. There's no one's found the reservoir of the disease. No one's found the transmission links. So there is more evidence for a lab leak.
And now we want to find out from China, are they directly responsible for releasing this on the world or indirectly by negligence? It's a fair question to ask.
What we have to do is start holding China accountable. We can sanction them, we can seize their assets, but what they need is public shaming. That we have to shame them, and not just the United States, but we need other countries to shame them as well.
And here's their quote from China's spokesperson. The lab leak theory is totally a lie concocted by anti-China forces for political purposes, which has nothing to do with science. That's their foreign ministry spokesperson. It's clear China is hiding something. The way they perceive it as an attack on China makes you think it wasn't unintentional.
I just don't think this makes biological sense.
It's not just the former CDC director sees things and knows things that the rest of us don't.
A lifelong of expertise.
Well, but not only is lifelong area of expertise, but actually when he was in the U.S. government, seeing things that the rest of us aren't entitled to. I mean, how much of just an opinion can it be?
We knew at the time that the Wuhan lab was the likely
place. That has only increased over the years. For WHO to come around now and finally come to the assessment that we've known for years just signifies that they are not paying attention to real facts. They're controlled by the Chinese, and they finally really couldn't bear the embarrassment of continuing down this road of denying the fact.
The world is starting to realize together that it was the Chinese who were responsible, either by what the World Health Organization calls a catastrophic accident or intentional, and that should put into question any of their ability to do this research.